Well, hello, and welcome to, well, I'm actually not sure how to classify this. It is kind of going to be another episode of the Let's Play series, but it's going to be sort of another approach to the whole thing. So I've kind of noticed that in the last episodes, we have just a little bit of me talking about what I'm going to be building and why, and then a time lapse up, with some of my favorite tunes from the free YouTube library. The next couple episodes are not going to be like that, as we will be leveling the island to get our mega project started. So, welcome to Timelapse Talk Volume 1. Well, we'll just vent about some things while you get to see me flattening a mushroom island. So, without further ado, thank you for watching, and let's get this party started. So today, we'll talk about creativity, well, a key thing for any creator. And I have to recognize I might not be, well, as creative as other content creators. In the end, I'm just doing pretty much the same as everyone else, but I'm doing more or less what I want. That's actually, well, the good thing of not having that big of an audience is that you get to be entirely free to do what you want. And that's where creativity lies, in doing whatever you want and putting it on the screen or whatever media you want. And there's actual freedom in that. Well, sometimes for good, sometimes for worse. There's always going to be good stuff and bad stuff being made. But let's think about, what if I was picking the genre of my videos not from what I enjoy, but from what's popular? Like, I could be making Fortnite videos or, something that people actually want to see. And what if instead of doing whatever I felt was right, just for the sake of it, I was focusing on an objective? Let's say, get a ton of views, or not being cancelled, or being as contrarian as possible. Then my creativity wouldn't focus on what I want my creation to be, but on all those other things. And in the end, whatever I create would have some of the things I actually wanted to have, blended with all of the things I am being forced to, put in there just for the views. Now, let's put this in the context of big media corporations, the stuff that, well, people actually care about more than a random guy playing Minecraft, debating if he should start cloud chasing. Because I think there are plenty of parallels in here. So, a streaming service acquires the rights to a specific IP, something that people loved for a specific theme, some characters, and some elements that actually made the show what people liked in the first place. But I want to remake it for nowadays audiences, meaning I can't do exactly the same thing they did, because I don't know if they'll like it, meaning I'm going to change all of those things people liked in the first place, and which is a sort of train of thought that always seemed weird to me. Like, if the IP worked in the first place, why change the whole thing? Anyway, I hire a creative team and ask them to remake the show. But I want a specific set of things. I want a female lead, I want a diverse casting, I want people who know exactly who's good and who's bad. I want a topic in line with the problems that we have nowadays, which actually begs the question, if you were going to change all of those things that may or may not be in the original piece you're remaking, did you actually want to remake, or did you actually want to do something different? And did you even like the IP you bought in the first place? So the creative team gets to it, but, well, most of the times this creative team has their own story to tell, or has an idea in their minds, but then they have to squeeze in everything the producers want, all of the elements we just talked about before, and put them through the lens of something that might not actually blend well with the original IP they have to adapt. Meaning the producers don't get a good show, and the creative team don't get to create what they actually wanted. And that's the weirdest thing. Like, most of the times, if you took all of the elements you wanted to add and created something new, like same budget, same actors, same directors, same crew, etc., it would have definitely worked, because you hire a creative team to create, not to just tell them to create something super specific that they might not be able to do, but they are definitely creative in themselves. So we established that the company hires a creative team, put it in constraints to make something that has the name of some and some of the features, and the rest you get to make whatever you want. So if the company doesn't care about the original product and how true you say to the source material, why use the IP in the first place? That's right, it's much easier to market. If I take something that people already liked and sell it again, people are going to see it, either nostalgia baiting or hate watching. And that's kind of the point of making something, for people to see it, said the YouTuber with 15 subs. Because when people see what you are creating, you're able to share a new story, a new angle, and actually made loads of money in the process, you know, tomato, tomato. And this is where we tie in with the analogy in the first place. The whole remake trend does not come from producers wanting that new angle on a beloved story, or a refreshment of all genres or cliches. It just comes from marketability. And to be honest, they are nailing it. They got us to watch all of the remakes in the world, some of them based on nostalgia baiting, like The Last Jurassic World, some of them openly admitting they actually didn't care about the source material, like the Halo show. And then you get, well, Rings of Power, which is a whole different level of unexplainable awfulness. But we end up talking about them, we end up seeing them, and we just make their ads for them, because it's true, there's no such thing as bad publicity. And with that, the company's won. And don't get me wrong, there has always been art for cash. Like, the whole Renaissance style is basically all religious stuff, because the church was the one paying. But if we really want creativity to flourish, we need to strike a balance between selling creative content and only making creative content for the sake of selling it. And here's where we get, well, the optimistic angle toward this, just a glimpse on the other side into a brighter future. Because the manufacturing of creative media doesn't end with films and TV shows, like we can talk about music any day. It just expands to everything. But the public has actually started making their own publishing ways, like those last remains of creativity that are definitely not in the offices in Hollywood. They are in the small studio that uploads music for free onto Spotify, in an artist that uploads their paintings onto Reddit, and the streamers actually taking over sports and talk shows that we used to see on TV. Because creativity will never die, we just have to look for it, it's there somewhere. And it's up to us to figure out what creators are worth our time, what creators might need some work, and what creators should find another career. But no matter where that creativity comes from, it should always be about the desire to push the limits of entertainment or the genre or a specific type of media, and just not to make a quick buck. So with that, I'm actually going to add the disclaimer at the very end. I'm just someone who is on the receiving end of content, trying to actually make sense of something I don't quite understand. Because I see plenty of amazing people just doing things online, making amazing stories, amazing music, art, and all of that with the love for the contents they are making as the prime objective. And then I see multi-million companies spending more than the budget of some countries on something that is just a rehash of something that we already saw, only with a fresh coat of paint. And with this piece, I don't want to say I have absolute truth. I will never claim my opinion is the only valid one. I will actually encourage you to tell me what you think in the comments below about both the problem and, well, the origins that I assumed this problem has. But with that, Timelapse and Talk Volume 1 is done. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.